Hey everybody. So today we're gonna do upward facing dog. We're gonna break it down. It's a posture which we do quite a lot, especially in Ashtanga and Vinyasa classes, and there's a lot of subtle details which can help you enhance the posture, so you feel better, more supported, and you can breathe easier and be more relaxed. A lot of times I see a lot of people have a lot of tension in this posture, even get lower back pain or have a hard time breathing. So we're gonna break it down, and then hopefully you get something out of it. Like last video, I'm gonna demonstrate some often made mistakes. So if you film yourself and you observe it, you might recognize some patterns. So I'm gonna demonstrate first. So a lot of mistakes I see is, let's start with the feet. So when people come up, their feet roll out or in, or they're too wide or too narrow. So you want your feet to be active and in one line, so that your legs are active and straight. If your feet roll out or in, you might get tension in the lower back or bad posture eventually. It could be that your legs aren't doing anything and then you dump into the lower back, or that your hands are placed incorrectly and your shoulders are rolling in. And there are many more, but these are the main ones. And one is that we don't breathe correctly. So to explain you two basic principles about breath is maybe the most important part about, especially the upward facing dog, but in yoga in general. So first rule is the breath is what initiates the movement, and the body follows. If you turn this around, your practice becomes more of a muscular effort and becomes more tense. Has a different impact on the nervous system. So where you're very tense, your practice is way different. Your nervous system keeps firing. You lose your breath. Your heart rate goes up. So try to remember and try to make it maybe an intention in your next practice. Breath initiates movement, and body follows the breath, not the other way around. And then inhalation is for lengthening and opening, and this lengthens the spine. And exhaling is for folding forward, closing, grounding, deepening the posture. But what most people do when they don't understand the concept of bandhas, I'll do a movie about this, but let's say without bandhas you just breathe in the belly. But if you want to lengthen the spine, you want to breathe upwards into the sternum and the collarbones, so that you can lengthen your spine. So first exercise is come on your knees, like me, and your feet. And then place your hands on your legs, and now breathe into your belly, like some of you might do. This is more for meditation, but in yoga, like active forms of yoga, you don't breathe through the belly, you breathe through the whole body with bandhas, but I'll explain this if you don't know what it is. So observe what's happening. And now place your hands above your sternum or above your heart, and breathe into the hands. And you might see and feel the spine lengthening. If not, try to breathe your hands up to your chin. And make long breaths. Good, and now breathe into the belly. Breathe into the hands. So it's a different sensation. So in Vinyasa we use the breath as a tool to open the body energetically, physically, and you want to be supported by the breath. You might see like advanced yogis do some movements quite effortlessly and very fluently. Well, this is not muscular effort, it is mainly subtle control of the body, so with breath and energy, etc. So that's a good thing, because most people think they have to be really, really, really strong, but it's usually more internal connection with the breath and other layers. So to give you an example of what most people do in upward facing dog with the breath is that, so if you don't breathe upwards, you stay in the belly, so there's no lengthening in the spine. So come on your arms and elbows in cobra pose. So you might feel your lower back already here. So you probably have a specific pelvis position. So now lift your pubic bone into your navel and then engage your glutes a little bit. And tailbone drops maybe a little bit. Now you have a little length in the spine. But if you keep breathing in the belly now, there's not a lot happening. There's no elongation of the spine. Your shoulders might roll in. So bring the shoulder blades together. And now breathe the chest, the sternum, up to the chin. Exhale, pulling the navel in. Lower ribs in. Inhale up. Maybe using the arms. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen the spine up. And exhale. Breathe into the belly. See, there's you feel less supported when you only breathe in the belly. So this is good for meditation, but not so good for active forms of yoga. Okay, another one, breath-wise, is that the breath initiates the movement. So what I see a lot of people do is when they come down, they exhale, and from chaturanga they go down. Let's start laying down for a change. And then they come up, and at first they push, and then they start breathing. And that's really hard because you're already fully tensed up, and you have to breathe through the tension. So most people do this, and then it's really hard. And then if you do this whole vinyasa, you'll be like, and then you're out of breath, and you won't feel relaxed. So to give you another idea, how it would be a bit more relaxed, but it's harder in the beginning, but try to. So first you breathe. So you fully exhale. And then first you inhale. See? So maybe you hear this. So make my ujjayi as loud as I can. So fully exhale. And then first you inhale and you follow the body. You follow the breath with the body. So exhale. So that's much more relaxed. So the beginning might be harder, but eventually you get there. So another thing to remember, you can write anything down, there's going to be a lot of details, is that you want to fully exhale before you inhale. Because if you fully exhale, you have the whole space to inhale, and you have more time to move and to open with the breath. So if I exhale halfway, and then inhale, see, you can't move up. So you want, and then inhale, exhale. Good. So this is the breath part. So I'll summarize. So we use, it's called diaphragmatic breathing, but full body breathing, not belly breathing. Full exhalation, full inhalation, and breath initiates movement. So the body follows the breath, not the other way around. This will make it a lot easier. Okay, good. So now let's go into the more physical part, which we, you have many options. So this is, I have to look at you personally to really see what's wrong, but most made mistakes are, as said, with the feet. Legs are inactive, hand position is wrong, and upper spine is not active, hips are not used, glutes are not used. It's not for everybody. But let's start from the head up. So place your hands at your shoulders, elbows. So now if you look at your nose and you lift your head, you feel that your spine is elongating. Maybe a little bit. You feel maybe a little bit compression in the lower back, or in the upper back and the neck, but if you breathe into the throat, you'll lengthen. Okay, what most people do, first mistake, is they, instead of looking at the nose, they look up. So now look up and lift the neck, and then you feel a compression maybe here on the top of your neck, close to your skull, especially when you keep pushing. So now look at your nose and come up. It's a way different sensation. So I recommend everybody to do this, especially if you practice a lot, because you'll get sensitive or maybe in your neck. Okay, good. So look at your nose, and then engage your legs. Legs are hip width apart, and then slowly lift the hands out of the floor, and then try to breathe up into your sternum and your collarbones, so your borstbeen, your sleutelbenen. If you feel your lower back, lift your pubic bone, engage your glutes a little bit, drop your tailbone. And now, shoulder blades together. You don't have to get as high as possible, just keep breathing. And exhale, lower down. So you might feel, so stay here, relax. So you might feel your lower back and your upper back activating. If you feel pain in the lower back, lift your pubic bone, pull your navel in, and try to lengthen the lower back instead of pushing into it. And then breathe into the upper back, middle back. Good. Now, I'm going to place again the hands underneath the shoulders. Feet are active. Lift. Good. And breathe. Okay, now place your hands to your lower ribs. Maybe come a little bit higher. And if you keep pushing, you eventually go into the lower back. Because most people, especially if you don't use the legs or legs passive, you feel the lower back, so you have to go down. Okay. Now, activate the legs, lift the arms, lift the back, place the hands, exhale. Good. Lift the legs up, glutes active, navel in, chest up. And then exhale, drop the feet, ground the hands, full exhale. And then inhale, lift, engage the legs, the glutes. Maybe elbows are bent or straight. And exhale, release. So again, come to your elbows. And if I just push back without breathing, so breathing to my belly, and the legs are inactive, I feel compression or maybe even pain already in my lower back. At least I do, most people do. So now if you engage your legs, you might feel a little bit of space already in the lower back. If you lift the pubic bone, navel in, ribs in, then you breathe up. Now you feel from the toes to the top of your head, you feel a line and your whole body is engaged. Now try to, if your shoulders really roll in, try to roll them back. Good. Relax. So before we continue, some people, especially the people who have a little bit of tension here in the shoulders and the chest, they have a hard time opening this part. So if you go up, and if you film yourself, and you go up and you look like this, you can open the chest, maybe bend the elbows a little bit so you can be here or here. Yeah. For the people who don't have that problem, just start using legs, chest open. Okay, eventually we want to lengthen the spine and then breathe out of the chest. So a good cue I once learned is that if you breathe, you want to feel as if a tree is growing out of your heart. As if your breath is expanding outwards. Yeah, something growing out of your heart. This works quite good for me because you can feel it. Okay. So your whole body is engaged, legs, hips, for some people glutes, for some people so your butt. If you feel your lower back when you activate your butt, make it a little bit lighter or lower it. Lengthening the front of the hips, chest open, breathing upwards and lengthening. Looking at your nose and breathing. Good. If you have all this, then the last part which you could do is movement of the hands. We have discussed this in Chaturanga, but there's also some movement here. So if my hands externally rotate, so I push my hands to the outside of the mat without moving, my elbows roll in, right? So if you place your hands in the mat, hands at the lower ribs, if I turn my hands out without moving, my elbows roll to the ribs and my shoulder blades move together, right? And if I now breathe out, I lengthen up. Do it a couple more times. So hands turn out without moving them, so that the elbows move in. Okay, what a lot of people do is they roll the hands in or they roll them and then your shoulders roll in and elbows roll out. And now breathe out. It's way different, right? So very small details, but it will try to make you understand your body and where the tension is. And then the last movement, so for a lot of people it is grounding the hands, turning them out so that the elbows move in without moving them in the mat, and then pulling them to the hips without moving them. So let's do it incorrectly. So hands not used, you might be here or even here, shoulders rolling in, yeah, or you just push up. Good. And now if I fully exhale, and then external rotate the hands, just forward, pulling the hand, and you might see my chest moving past the arms. So again, most people don't use the hands, they just sag down and then push up. Yeah, look at my shoulders, my elbows, my chest. Okay, now if I move up, the elbows in, shoulder blades together, hands pulling, chest forward, legs active. Look at your nose. And exhale. So these are the most important things from my perspective in downward dog. And this is the back bend in vinyasa, which prepares you for deeper back bends. So if you have a hard time here, you probably have a much harder time with more complex back bends because there is less support. So if you have any problems in this posture, could be in the shoulders, could be in the lower back or the hips or the feet or anywhere else, just shoot me a message and I'll help you out gladly. And until we meet in person, then I can see what's actually happening in your body to help you in the best possible way. Until then, try out this movie. Hopefully it'll help you, and see you at the next class. Thank you guys. Have a nice day.